guys, Chris here, and I want to talk today about relationships from pornography, and more so getting across this point of like feeling that I wasted a lot of my life with the pornography addiction, how that slowed down the progress with relationships. Like I feel like I could have healed myself more and relationships could have improved if I had stopped this addiction sooner. So talked recently on videos about going 6 months and now 7 month streaks on semen retention and not wanting to look back on this journey. And I think sort of get to the age of 39 and sort of having a recent relationship not too long ago and getting past that where it went wrong and sort of realizing going through the pain and the grieving and making these mistakes, which sometimes I feel like I could have made earlier in life. And I think when I spent a lot of time over the last 10 years maybe watching pornography and how that's impacted my relationships, I sometimes feel like I'm playing catch up. And maybe I'm learning stuff now where people are like, oh yeah, and then they're in their late 20s or 30s, like, oh yeah, that happened to me once. And I'm kind of thinking, why am I learning this so late in life? And I think a lot of the relationships I had whilst on this addiction that I met were more so quite narcissistic, and maybe it was a bit more of a sexual relationship, or at least that's what I was drawn to. And you don't really know until you stop this addiction how much you are in that sort of zone. And it's not like you probably would still be like, I'm a nice guy, I respect women, but because you're indulging in this habit, it is changing who you are, changing your brain and this objectifying sort of side of things. I'm focusing on the sexual side a lot, whereas I think the longer you sort of go in semen retention, that is not as important as some of the other qualities you look for. So in these other relationships, as with the recent ones, neglecting my own needs and and in turn attracting partners where it was probably more about them. And this is where the underlying grief and the pain is to go through, and why I sort of watched the pornography in the beginning. And it's not wanting to get rejected, it's not wanting to meet these kind of women potentially, but you know, when you have the courage and you say, okay, I'm going to stop this addiction now and I'm going to focus on just when the next person comes up, and I'm going to not fear rejection, and I'm going to grow from it. And I'm really being self-aware and healing in particular. Like I feel like I've sort of grieved so much after the last relationship, which goes back to, you know, childhood wounding and these sort of things. And I don't think I would have got here without the semen retention and the growth. And I just think relationships are such a beautiful thing, particularly if you're on this growth journey. Maybe it isn't that you're just going to meet someone and you're going to have happily ever after with children. It might be that you just keep attracting the wrong kind of person and you keep growing from it. And that can be quite painful. I think sometimes that was why pornography was an easy thing for me, because it was like, okay, I'm going from failed relationship to relationship. There's this trauma here that I keep repeating or that keeps coming up. I just want out. And the more I've kind of surrendered to it and let go, I found good. But I do sort of now have a bit of regret of, why did I not start this sooner? And the growth could have been so much more. I could have focused on myself, because just watching pornography, you're not really growing. You're just watching, you're pleasuring yourself, and there's no real lessons there. And I wanted to talk, about the relationships. I've seen some videos recently, and I've seen a lot online talk a lot about celibacy and semen retention, and I can maybe feel in certain people's energy, and also having met people in these communities which are it's like there's pain there from why they go to porn, and then just abstaining doesn't always do the difference. I think when you go back out there and you try and meet someone and you try to make a relationship work, or you trying to figure out, you're figuring out more about yourself, and the abstaining can still be or just being celibate and saying I've given up, maybe as a genuine reason. But I sometimes feel like maybe that is once you've fully healed and I mean, it's not for me to say, but at least now I'm still learning. So there is something deeper in my subconscious that maybe wants a woman or this sort of thing. So I'm still working through that. And I think when I spoke to my friend who is a lot younger than me, and he's sort of saying, oh yeah, you're in this, yeah, that relationship with this, oh, I was in that once and I learned that lesson. And it's kind of like, okay, why am I playing catch up? And I realized that a lot of it is abstaining. And I thought I would, is indulging in this addiction, which is a problem, because I think some people do it and it's not as much a problem as other people. Some people are doing it and they're just in relationships and they're living their life, but then other people are doing it and completely unplugging. So I wanted to do that, and I wanted to share that, and because I really feel like cutting it out and sort of meeting someone and going through that feeling of loving someone and feeling all these ecstatic feelings, and then going through the grief and the sadness and everything is obviously is painful, but it is part of life and it's part of the growth. And once you've been through it all, you're like, I definitely wouldn't take it back. But then I think, okay, if I just watched porn for the last 7 months, where would I be now? And I think as well I want to do more videos about the spiritual benefits of this. I think the longer you go on this journey on the semen retention, you end up just feeling happier as well, and you feel more more connected to everything. And I think that's a big reason as to why to carry on this journey, because I think there's quite a few videos about going to the gym and it's like, oh, I'm gone 2 months and lifting weights every day, oh, I've relapsed again, and blah blah blah. And I think sometimes to really kill this habit is like, okay, why am I doing this? I want to become the best I can be. I want to find out who I am. I want to be to get all of my energy back, I think, is what it is, because the relationships I've been in and I end up in are showing me where I'm putting the other person's needs first, and I'm thinking about them all the time in terms of, okay, how can I make them happy? What's going on with them? Why are they not being like this or that? But ultimately what I've learned now is like, what about me? Now I'm getting all of my energy back, and you feel really powerful, as with semen retention does, because you get so much energy. You're kind of like, what do I do with all this energy? And realize how powerful you are and how great you are. And that's when the things come to you and the people come to you and everything comes to you. And the things that you wanted when you're watching porn and you're relapsing and you're going through all of these things are not things that you actually want once you go on a longer streak. So I thought I'd share this video as some sort of motivation in terms of relationships and getting back out there and meeting people and life without being addicted to porn. So hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you soon. And drop some comments below. It's good to know what people think of these videos, and any comment, because I'm just getting some likes but not enough comments. So if anything wants to share or anything you liked or what you want to hear more of would be great. All right, I'll speak to you soon.